Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you. Why you're so into Israel?
Well, this is my first trip to Israel. So, to be honest, I wouldn't even describe it as being into Israel or pro-Israel or anything like that. I'm just pro-freedom, pro-democracy, pro-good. And I'm very anti-evil. And I'm anti the killing of children in their homes while they sleep. I'm anti what occurred on October 7. I'm anti everything that they represent. You know, this isn't a fight about picking a side. There's no sides. They are evil terrorists. This is not, oh, this is complex. Oh, this is resistance. Oh, there's grey area. Oh, I'm so confused. I can kind of see both sides' perspective. No, 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 no. They are evil.
כשהאנטישמיות במדיה העולמית רק מתגברת, יש עיתונאית אחת שמתייצבת פעם אחר פעם לטובת ישראל. זוהי ארין מולין, מגישת טלוויזיה אוסטרלית. היא לא יהודייה ומעידה כי לא היה לה שום קשר לישראל. אבל מאז 7 באוקטובר, היא לא עוצמת עיניים לפייק ניוז, ומתעקשת להראות לציבור את העובדות.
Hamas is responsible for every single death in Gaza since October 7 and many before, but some people are too blind to see that, to indoctrinate it. I'm not breaking news on the battlefield. I'm not out there kind of revealing big secrets or facts or anything like that. What I'm doing is looking primarily at a very public situation, at what politicians are saying, at what the media is reporting and how they're reporting it, and calling out the utter, complete BS. I feel passionately about making people understand is that every horrific death and suffering in Gaza is the fault of Hamas, the fault of Iran. That is it. That is it. So have your heart broken by their suffering. Mine is too. But understand who is responsible for it. And that's what I'm trying to show the world. It can end now. Release the innocent men, women and children currently in tunnels and lay down your arms. Hamas, that's it. It's up to them.
There's a price for standing up for Israel.
But the way I see it, I find it very easy to stand with this country because it is doing the entire world a favour.
Entire world?
Entire world, of course. You know, people, if you think that it will end with Israel or end with the Jews, then I'm sorry, but you're an idiot. It never ends here. And look at what we're already seeing. Look at what we're already seeing around the world aimed at other religions from extremism and from terrorism.
There's a personal price.
Absolutely. It's
professional price,
I've got a 6-year-old, you know, I've got a little girl. There's a very personal price. What's happening in the world is far scarier than anything that might happen to me individually. And if I'm silent now because I'm afraid of people threatening to do awful things to me, then the world that my daughter will grow up in, I can't even imagine how bad that will be.
It's much more easier to shut up, not to go against the majority
Absolutely, I know. I look around and I see so many people who I know agree with me, absolutely. People who have platforms and they choose not to speak. And no judgment from me, right? I'm a different person. I can't not speak. But I understand that other people weigh up the risk and determine that it's not worth it for them. I see the risk as far too great to ever be silent.
בשל עמדותיה הפרו-ישראליות, מולין כבר קיבלה איומים על חייה לפני כשבוע. היא פוטרה מסקאי ניוז אוסטרליה, שם הגישה תוכנית בפריים טיים.
I loved every second of my time with Sky. My show there became my purpose, my passion, and aside from my little girl, basically my entire existence. So that's done now. But I am not. In fact, I'm just getting started.
You've been fired.
I was gutted. It was my whole passion, my purpose, my... Yeah, I was gutted.
But you defended Israel. That's why you got fired.
No.
No?
No, not from that job. Have I missed out on opportunities? Have I had opportunities end because of my support? Absolutely. But Sky News Australia is different.
Truly horrifying moment. The Adass synagogue went up in flames.
There's been widespread condemnation to an attack in Sydney that saw anti-Israel graffiti.
Why Australia is so against Israel.
It's not. It is not at all. Our leadership has been incredibly weak in this space. Our Prime Minister, our Foreign Minister, absolutely. No argument from me there. I think then the anti-Semitism that we've seen has been empowered by their response. I think a weak response enables those within our communities who are, in my opinion, not good people. It allows them the courage to speak louder. And so we're seeing that. I look back at the immediate reaction in Australia, not the reaction of everyday Australians like me, but the reaction of those who gathered in front of the Sydney Opera House 2 days after to celebrate the massacre. So prior to Israel doing anything, they chanted, they cheered, they laughed, they celebrated. And they chanted.
It's so sad, you know.
So sad. So, national shame. F the Jews. Where's the Jews? People heard them say, gas the Jews. The whole thing was a disgrace. Not one person, to my knowledge, has paid a heavy price for that incitement to violence. That is not free speech. I believe in free speech, vehemently, passionately. That's not free speech. That is hate speech and that is incitement to violence. But in terms of the vast majority of Australians, they know wrong from right. They know good from evil. They stand against terrorism. So I look at Australia and I think, please don't think that that is the vast majority, because it's not. But it is still disgraceful.
Is it safe for Jewish people?
I saw somewhere recently that they had advised Jewish people not to come to Australia. I look at what's happened recently. I probably wouldn't. If I had friends who were overseas who were Jewish, I would probably say don't come now.
כעת מולין הגיעה לישראל. היא ראתה מקרוב את הקיבוצים שמשתקמים מהתופת, והתנדבה עם ניצולי מסיבת נובה. את המראות האלה היא לא תשכח, וגם אותם, היא מבטיחה, היא תפיץ לעולם.
I don't think I've ever experienced such horror as I experienced at the Nova site and at the 2 kibbutz that we went to. But I've also never experienced such hope, and that sounds really strange, but I'm standing in a space where 3 little children were killed mercilessly after watching their parents killed. Yet I look out the window and I see volunteers, architects, builders, plumbers. You should, as a nation and as a religion, capitulate. But you continue to live and to fight and to just be the most extraordinarily strong people I've ever encountered in my life. And it's such a privilege to meet people and to understand what makes you so special. I'm a single mum with a 6-year-old. I'm not from Israel. I'm not Jewish. I'm not American. I have no skin in this game. But you see, I do. And that's the problem. We all do. It doesn't matter how far away from the coalface we are. When hate is allowed to fester, we all lose. I look back at every single thing I've said from October 7 until now. Every editorial, every monologue, every interview, every column that I've written. There is not one thing that any sane, normal, rational human being should find a problem with. Not one. So I don't want to live in a world that thinks that's controversial.